Hey guys, what's going on here? This is Nav coming at you again with a new deck profile. I made a Reboot Gohan deck. I know that the ban list was released a couple days ago, basically saying that Reboot Gohan is banned in a best of one format. So out of my videos that I've been posting on my channel, I've made them, like a best of three format. So I want to show you guys the type of deck that I'm playing. It's not just like your standard Reboot Gohan that's just very aggressive and whatnot. This is actually running the green Hirudegarn build that is from the Draft Box 6. And from the videos, if you check them out recently, this deck can go really in. It's really destructive. It's actually hand destructive at the same time while it's pushing aggro. You know, you're going to see a lot of critical hits. You're going to see a lot of really cool plays and some combos in the deck that I made. And so we'll get started. If you guys don't know, by the way, why, what does this Reboot Gohan do? Basically, as an auto, that when he attacks, you choose up to 1 or 2 life in your hand. In your life, and you add them to your hand, and you switch them to active mode. So it's kind of like a dual attacker. And when you have 3 or less life, you draw 2 cards and untap one of your energies and switch it to active mode. You flip the card over, and then you go into this guy right here. This is your leader when he awakens. It's the Father, Son, Kamehameha, Goku, and Gohan return. He has an auto that when he attacks, you draw a card, and he has an active battle once per turn. During your turn, choose 1 card in your life, place it in your drop area, and when this card attacks, it gains 10k and triple strike for the turn, which is what really made it dangerous on top of Feet Kamehameha. So, it's a 40k critical triple striker, which is really powerful. And then also this leader has an activate main that you switch this card to active mode, and at the end of your turn, you lose the game. So that's just giving you a lot of push, especially when you're able to attack with the leader. You take 2 life, you're able to awaken that turn. So you flip them, and then you're just gonna awaken, draw 2, untap 1. Now you have your leader here, then you just burn it. Now you're at 25k, and you just drop like a Feet Kamehameha. Now you're at a 40k triple striker, and then you can attack again, draw a card, and restand, attack again, draw a card, and just consistently really strong. So kind of makes it about a dual attacker to a triple attacker and puts a lot of pressure. So let's get started with the deck with the engine that I'm actually playing. So I play actually 1, 2, 3, 4 newfound Power Son Gohan. Just a really good crit. Like I say, you're just gonna do a lot of crits. You're gonna take a lot of you're gonna dish a lot of damage to your opponent. Just take a life. As long as you calculate it right, you'll be okay. You're just gonna take a life. He gains 10k critical. That's what you're gonna play to really start off the deck for your Hirudegarn engine. You're gonna play 4 Tapions, Fate of Hero. So basically this card has 2 effects. He's actually a blocker, and he has an active main where you pay a green energy or a blue energy. Basically, if your leader is green or a Phantom Demon, you discard this card from your hand, and you get the option to either draw a card and play him at the end of your turn from the drop area. So you have a 15k blocker on board. So you can also switch to a defensive mode, or you can actually activate 1 sealed music box from your deck, and then you shuffle the deck. So what I actually do, I play 2 sealed music box. So this is a new field card from the Draft Box 6, and it has a really good effect. So basically, when you activate this card, you're gonna look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You add up to 1 Hirudegarn, Tapion, or Minosha, or a green Unison with a specified cost of 1 among them, and add them to your hand, and then you shuffle the deck. So this is gonna let you grab any of the pieces that you're missing, whether it's the Hirudegarn piece that you need, whether it's a Tapion piece that you need, or the Minosha. Majority of the time, you're really gonna grab the Minosha, because you really need the Minosha in hand to actually start off the whole combo. And it also has an active main for 1 green energy. You're going to place this into your drop area, and you choose up to 1 Tapion or Minosha card with an energy cost of 3 or less in your hand and play it. So what I play is 4 Minoshas, Unsealed Hero. So what this card does, he has an auto that when this card is removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill or KO'd, whether you KO'd it or your opponent KO'd it, you get to choose one option. You can either choose up to one Hirudegarn card with an energy cost of 3 from your deck or hand, and you play it, and you shuffle the deck, or you draw a card. Honestly, majority of the time, I was really always playing the Hirudegarn card. If I wasn't really able to, I would just draw a card, but this is really good. This is 15K. So then what you also play, because there's about 8 cards in this deck that actually lets you able to KO him. So one of them, or 4 of them, is basically Hoi, Hidden Ambition. So this is kind of like your pseudo combo. You're like a really good, kind of like a super combo. And he's a 1-drop. And when this card is played, you get to draw a card. And then he also has an auto that you get to choose up to one of your green Hirudegarns or Minosha cards and KO it. And then when this card is used in a combo, it gets 5K power for the duration of the battle. So that's 10K right there. You're gonna KO one of your Minoshas, and this is what you're gonna go out to. So this card lets you play into the whole chain of the Hirudegarn. I'm just gonna put them all here. You're gonna play 4 of the Hirudegarn Phantom Limbs. You're gonna play 4 of the Hirudegarn Phantasmic Revival. I'll go through each of these, by the way. 4 Hirudegarn Phantasmic Evolution, and 3 right here of the Hirudegarn Recurring Nightmare. So let me just take one real quick and just read it to you so you guys see what's going on. So basically this 3-drop, you're gonna KO your 2-drop Minosha with either Hoi, or you're gonna use the Hirudegarn Unison, which I'll show you in about a bit. So when this card is removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill, or it's KO'd, either way, you can play up to the 4-drop from your deck or your hand, and you shuffle it. Or if you don't do that, you choose up to, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and discards it. So you go into this 3-drop, you attack with it, you KO it, you go into this 4-drop. This 4-drop is amazing right here. This is the Hirudegarn Phantasmic Revival. He's a 20K beat stick. And basically when the opponent combos, you're gonna place 1 card from your opponent's combo area into its drop area, and then you negate his skill for the turn. Well, this skill specifically. And then he has another auto that basically, if you have 3 or more energy, when this card is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill or KO'd, you're gonna play up to 1 Hirudegarn card with an energy cost of 6 from your deck or your hand. And then you shuffle your deck if you look through it. And if you didn't play a battle card, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and discard it. So here's the thing that's really cool about this card. When this auto activates, your opponent, if they have a counterplay, they would have to blindly do it. Like if they want to do God Sealing Trunks, this is the opportunity. Like, hey, do you want to God Sealing Trunks it? Oh, yes, I do. Okay, cool. Well, I'm not going to play a battle card. So now you have to now you lose a card from your hand. And think about it. This is the same turn that you used his auto to negate, to put a combo card in the combo area. That's 3 cards that they neg in 1 turn just from this card by itself. It's really powerful. And another thing is too, this goes up the chain into your 6-drop, okay? This is the Hirudegarn Phantasmic Evolution. This card has critical. He also have EX Evolve with an energy cost of 4 for Hirudegarn. I did this once because I wasn't able to KO my 4-drop. So if you have this card in your hand, you're gonna definitely, and you're not able to like KO something, you can just evolve it on top of the 4-drop after, using the auto. And basically he has an incredible auto. When his card is removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill or KO, you're going to play 1 Hirudegarn card with energy cost of 4 or 9 from your deck or your hand, and you shuffle the deck if you look through it, and you can't play any copies of this card for the turn. But if you didn't play a battle card, you choose 2 cards in your opponent's hand and discard them. So now you get the option to rip 2 cards from the hand and not the opponent. Majority of the times, man. Oh, and also he has an active battle. Before I continue, you KO him and you choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards and KO them. So when you do this on your opponent's turn, you're going to shut down plays. You're gonna just KO whatever whatever big beater they bring out. You KO anything that's a nuisance to you. If it's like a Black Massane or something, you get rid of tokens. You can just get rid of anything. There's no restriction of the battle card. The battle card can have any type of energy cost, doesn't matter. The power level, how powerful the card is, it will KO it. except for barrier. It can't get through barrier. Sorry, guys. But this card is so amazing. I usually have this card, on the turn that I'm going for the, triple strike, critical hit with my leader. Then I just KO him. I don't play another battle card. Just rip 2 cards from their hand. So it's really, really nice. And this lets you go back into the 4-drop, if you want to keep doing any more assaults. And then the 9-drop, I didn't play him too much, but he's really good. He's a blue-green Hirudegarn, the Recurring Nightmare. He has energy exhaust, unique blockers. So you can have one. You can only have one on board, and he has revive as well. So if he ever gets knocked out, KO'd, just ditch a blue-green or ditch one of your Tapion cards, and he just comes right back in. But he has an active main that, if your leader's green or a Phantom Demon, you just choose one Hirudegarn card with an energy cost, a 4, 6, or 7. You do have your 4-drop and your 6-drop. And your battle area, and you KO it, and you play this card from your drop area, and you can't activate this active main again for the rest of the turn. And then he has an auto that if your leader card is a green Phantom card, is green or a Phantom Demon card, when this card activates blocker skill, you choose one card from your opponent's hand and discard it. To be honest, I really didn't do it that much. When I was playtesting, this turn that this guy would come out, I'm just swinging with it. I'm always attacking with it. If I really need to go onto the defense, you can, but that's usually why I have the Tapions for. That's why I have my other cards for, and it's a pretty good card. So this is the engine that you have to run. I'm really comfortable with running 3 of these. You don't need to run 4. Even if you run, 2, I think it's okay, but definitely, at most run 3 because you don't want to get your hand all cloggy. And then for the Unison, what you play, you're going to play 4 Hirudegarn Giant Force. So this also came from the draft box 6. Let me just bring it a little bit closer. He's a 1-drop green. This card can't attack if it has 3 or less markers on it, which is kind of okay. It evens it out because you don't want to have a 1-drop, 15k and just start attacking immediately. I actually agree with this. I think this is okay. I think that they should make a couple more Unison cards like this. If a Unison is going to cost 1 energy, you just can't start swinging with it, immediately. So he has an auto as well. You choose 1 card in your hand, you discard it. When your opponent combos, place up to 1 of their cards from their combo area to the drop area, then negate the skill for the turn. So with this card, and you have the 4-drop Hirudegarn on board, that's 2 cards that you're, negging from your opponent from the combo area. And, most of the times the card you're discarding is anything that's useless to you, or, your Hirudegarn, the reoccurring nightmare, which is the 9-drop. You can discard that. Now he's active in the drop area since you have your 4-drop on board, so it's really, really easy. And he has an active main. I really don't do it a lot, to be honest with you, unless I'm just gonna dump the Hirudegarn Recurring Nightmare, but majority of the time I use him I use it to get pitched from the auto of this Hirudegarn Giant Force Unison. So for an active main of 2 markers, choose 1 card in your hand and discard it. But the one you're really going to do the most every turn, you're going to do the active main where you choose up to 1 of your hero or Phantom Demon cards and KO it. So this lets you KO any of the combo pieces of the Hirudegarns, or it lets you KO either the Tapion or the Minosha, but there's no point of KOing Tapion. That's stupid. You're going to KO the Minosha so that you can start to chain. So there are 8 cards in this deck that will KO cards, that will KO your own cards, that will start the chain with the Minosha, and it's really good. And of course, you're going to play 4 of the Frieza Charismatic Villain. If you don't know what this card does, it's counterplay, can activate counterplay skills for the, for the rest of the turn. And you play this card from your hand as a permanent. If you have a green Unison with 2 or more markers, which is not difficult because you can get that turn 1, you can just play this card for free without paying the skill cost, which is energy cost of 5. And when this card is played, you choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 7 or less and KO. So this is really great, especially when your opponent's playing something very aggro. And you're playing aggro as well. But if you have this in your hand and you go first and you play your Hirudegarn card, add a marker to it, your opponent tries to do some kind of aggro play. They try to play any one drops that take a life. You just play this Frieza and you just shut down and slow down their turn. For the super combos, this was player preference. I just play for the great, three of the great Sane Man, Vanquisher, Vanity, or I just play one of the, in one Android 18, Bionic Blix. Honestly, you can play like a combination of a 2-2 split, or you can play Paragus. It's all player preference. This just helps you, just add some little insult to injury with the discarding effect. Basically, it's a super combo, and if your leader card is blue or green, when you combo with this card from your hand, your opponent chooses one card in their hand and places it at the bottom of their deck. So on top of your Hirudegarns, hurting their hand from the autos of just sending cards from their combo area to the drop area, making them neg, on top of your leader doing critical hits, on top of the 6-drop doing crits and your Gohan doing crits, now you have an Android 18 super combo that puts a card from their hand to the bottom of the deck, so it leaves them at a really big disadvantage. And so it's pretty nice. It's just a little test. You can just, it's up to you how many you want to play. And then you just play the Great Saiyan Man, Vanquisher, Villainy. So you just put a card from your hand that's useless, like a Unison card or an extra card that you can't use, and put it at the bottom of the deck and draw 2 cards to get 10k power, by the way. And it's really easy to go for less life. And for another battle card that I played, this card is amazing. This is also from Draft Box 6. This is Son Gohan Hidden Might. So if you don't know what this card does, he's a 5-drop that basically turns into a 2-drop. And he has Deflect, Unique, Double Strike. When your life is at 3 or less, you reduce the energy cost of this card by 3, so he's a 2-drop. And if your leader card is green, you are able to either KO a battle card, ignoring barrier, or you choose up to one of your opponent's Unison cards and remove a marker from it. So this card is amazing, and it's 25k. It's not that hard. And in one of my videos, I was able to do it on turn 3. My life was very low. I'm just attacking with everything. My opponent thinks they were just done with all the onslaughts, and then you just slam this guy down, this guy, and just drop everything for game if you're able to, and you have the clear board. So this card I recommend to play 2 of. I don't think you need to play 3 or 4. You're only going to really play him one time. He has a unique. He doesn't have barrier, so it's unfortunate, but it's all right. This card is really powerful. This is also one of your other game ender cards. And the last battle card I play, which is the secret rare, the Great Ape Sane Primal Carnage. This card you're never really gonna play. If you go to turn 5, it's just like, what are you doing? Unless you're getting like really stalled out, or you're playing like Shinron or some kind of control deck. But this is your secret rare that you're really gonna play. Basically, if your leader's mono green, you remove this card from your combo area from the game. You just choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and KO it. So this card can just KO anything, and just get rid of it. So if your opponent just drops a card and just, one of their battle cards or one of their secret rare cards, and just drop everything for game, dump everything for game, you just combo this guy, remove, get rid of it, KO it in the battle. And also, I didn't read this part too, but he has an active main for 5 green energy. You play this card from your hand, it gains dual attack, triple strike for the turn. Very rare that you're really gonna do that. If you have 5 open energy and you have a lot of good strong combo cards in your hand, you're really gonna kind of want to do that. So definitely, this card is just board removal. Anything that's a nuisance, you definitely want to use it for. And for my extra cards, I play 2 Cells Earth Destroying Kamehamehas, just to rip, a card from your opponent's hand and gain 15k power for one of your green leader cards or your battle cards. Actually, you can actually just choose anything. It doesn't have to be a green card at all. It just says if your leader's green, choose up to one of your leader battle cards and it gains 15k. And then if all your energy's green, when you activate this card, choose one card in your opponent's hand and place it in the drop area. So you definitely, oops, sorry about that. You definitely want to make this, one of your end gamer cards that you use. And of course, the 4 Feet Kamehamehas. I know everyone hates this combination. I wasn't a fan of it either, but when I play this deck and I am just like rushing down game 1, it's just so satisfying. Basically, if your leader is a Green Sun Goku, which he is when you awaken, he's both Sun Gohan and Sun Goku. For the duration of your turn, your leader card gains 15k power and critical. So that's, with this card and Burning a Life, that's 40k. There was no reason for you to even try to combo out even more. Just let the opponent just burn their hand, waste their resources and everything and all their utilities, and you have your Hirudegarn cards and on the board to kill any of their combo cards anyway, so they're gonna have to spend more. So as you see, I play no negates. Basically, when you go first, when it's turn, game one, sorry about that. When it's game one, you're just able to rush very aggro. You're able to just go in really fast. So for the side deck, what I play is, I play 3 Demigra Unison of Sorcery. He has a permanent that if he would lose a marker from an opponent's attack, you can just add 1 card from your life to your hand instead. He's a 1-drop green Unison. He has an active main to get 5k, to get 10k for 10k power for the duration of the turn, just for 1 marker. And then if you remove 3 markers, you get to choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards. You KO it, so you can KO anything, as long as it doesn't have barrier. Then you choose up to one of your opponent's battle card with energy cost of 3 or less, ignoring barrier, and KO it. So this card is really good, especially if you have like an aggro matchup and whatnot. You're able to just rush this out. You don't lose your Unisons. You're able to just make some plays. And also, what a lot of people don't know, or some people sleep on it, is that Sealed Music Box actually lets you search for it, because it says you can search for a green Unison card with a specified cost of 1 among them and add it to your hand. So this is a green specified cost of 1, so you're just able to add this to your hand. So he's actually searchable with the Sealed Music Box, which is really pretty cool and neat. Another card that you're going to play, that I play in my side deck, I played 3 Dark Powered Mass Saiyan, so I just removed the Gohan and add this in. This is just for any new sense or like a Bajax or, cards that bring out tokens for free, or just, cards that just play cards, or even in the mirror match. This actually hurts the Hirudegarn as well, because if they do the Sealed Music Box and you have this on board, they have to discard 2. If they're going to try to go into the 3-drop Hirudegarn, they have to, discard 2. So this card is amazing. I think everybody knows what this does. Basically, when he attacks, you can add 1 card from your life to your hand, and he gains 10k, so he helps you self-awaken. And when your opponent plays a battle card with 15k power or less using a non-keyword skill, so cards like, for example, Swap, that's a keyword skill, so that doesn't count. Arrival, that's a keyword skill, that doesn't count. Your opponent would choose 2 cards from their hand and place them into the drop area, so they get punished when they start trying to make any extra plays. So definitely you're going to want to have this in your sideboard. Then you're going to play 3 Vegeta Protecting His Loved Ones. So what this card does, he has barrier, which is really broken. This card is a really crazy silver bullet. When this card is played, you draw 1 card, auto once per turn. When your opponent switches their energy to active mode using a counter skill, you place up to one of your opponent's life and 1 card from your opponent's energy into the drop area. So this is really mainly for like the blue matchup. The blue's really one of the only decks that, that switch energy to active mode using a counter skill like Dimension Magic or Whis Corrosion, or even against Baby, which is also blue as well. They get punished really hard for this. They got to think about it. So this is a really powerful card that you're gonna want to play, and definitely want to play this. Excuse me. And then also for the extra cards, I play 2 Heart of Arrow. If I had a 3rd one, I would play it. I would side it in. Basically, if you don't know, this card came from Draft Box 5s, and it's a 1-drop green extra card that has an active battle. You get to choose one of your green leader cards or battle cards, and it gets 10k power for the duration of the battle. But if it's your turn, you get to choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 3 or less and KO them. So, like, let's say if your opponent is playing Black Mass Saiyan on you, then you just play this card on your turn. You pop the Black Mass Saiyan, or you pop anything that would, counter this deck, that would hurt this deck. That is problematic, and it's just really good. You can get rid of, just get rid of anything that's like a threat early game, you know, that's really bothersome. And it's the fact that it says the energy cost of 3 or less is really good. So there's a lot of cards that you can just get rid of with this card. And for this last one, this one is really optional. I'm only going to show you guys this because I don't have, you know, Unleash Dormant Potential Unleash, but, you know, 4 Shocking Death Balls, or it can be Dormant, you know, Dormant Potential Unleash, which you know, you discard a card and then it can only attack 1 more time for the turn. You're able to do it really easy because you always have a Unison on board, or you can just play Shocking Death Ball. So this gets rid of, you know, any of the small cards that they have with energy cost of 2 or less. You know, you negate the attack and pop it. It has Sparking 5. You know, you're able to activate this counter skill by adding a card from your life to your hand instead. So you can either play this or you can play Dormant Potential. So either one, to be honest, is kind of like a win-win. But if you're going up against like something very, very aggro, like you know, like Red Broly Swap, then you're definitely gonna want to play, you know, Shocking Death Ball or something. I mean, not Shocking Death Ball, but Dormant Potential Unleash. But this card is really good. Just gets rid of any little guys that are nuisance or anything that tries to chain up, or, you know, it can get rid of any blockers on board, get rid of the opponent's boss, get rid of like other blockers, or just anything that's coming out in future sets that are just quite annoying. So hope you guys like my deck. I've uploaded like 3 videos of this deck, you know, gameplay. And I really like it. You know, I know best of 1 format, it's banned. Some people believe that in a best of 3 format doesn't do well because it gets countered, you know, easily by game 2 or game 3, which makes sense. But that's why I think the Hirudegarn version is going to be a lot better, you know, because you're not really relying on the leader for the game winning, you know, for all the wins. You know, you're swinging with big guys, you know, and in turn 3, you're attacking with your leader about 2 to 3 times. You're attacking with a 2-drop Minosha, then going to a 3-drop Hirudegarn, going to a 4-drop Hirudegarn, going to a 6-drop Hirudegarn, going to the, you're gonna do about 6 to 7 hits on turn 3, you know, attacks, you know, unless, and this is just granted if they don't have, you know, like the negates to stop it. They're not, if, you know, if it's not a green deck or something or a yellow deck, but just like, this just really rushes in, and you have battle cards. You know, it's not just a whole bunch of 1-drops who take a life, crit this, take a life, double strike. I really like this deck. I think the Hirudegarn version is really good. I'm gonna probably test this out even more, you know, into this in tournaments. And I also think that it's just really worth giving it a shot, you know, in a best of 3 format. And if you don't like it, you can also just play the starter deck Broly with this Hirudegarn engine, and it would do just, it would produce the same results. You know, it's just really powerful. So I hope you guys have a nice day or night, whatever time it is for you guys, and just enjoy. If you enjoy the content, you know, like, comment, subscribe, just let me know how you feel. Have a good night.